On September 3, 2025, something unprecedented occurred at Tiananmen Square in Beijing. For the first time in its history, China publicly demonstrated its complete nuclear triad, including an entirely new intercontinental ballistic missile, the DF-61. This isn't just a military parade, it's a clear message to the entire world that the Middle Kingdom is ready to play the global game by its own rules. Standing alongside Xi Jinping were Vladimir Putin and Kim Jong-un, symbolically demonstrating the formation of a new military-political alliance that poses a direct challenge to the Western world order. Of particular concern in Washington is the fact that China's missile program is developing under conditions of complete secrecy and absence of international control. Unlike Russian-American strategic arms limitation treaties, China is not bound by any obligations to limit its nuclear arsenal. Furthermore, Beijing categorically refuses to participate in trilateral arms control negotiations, citing substantial lag behind U.S. and Russian arsenals. However, the pace of Chinese nuclear buildup suggests this lag will be eliminated within the next decade. The emergence of the DF-61 also indicates fundamental changes in Chinese nuclear doctrine. Traditionally, the Middle Kingdom adhered to the principle of minimal deterrence, maintaining a relatively small nuclear arsenal exclusively for defensive purposes. However, the scale of current arms buildup suggests a transition to a doctrine of assured mutual destruction, similar to American and Russian strategies during the Cold War. This means China is preparing for prolonged geopolitical confrontation with the West and views nuclear weapons as instruments not only of defense, but also of coercion. Military analysts note that the DF-61 may pose a serious threat to American silo-based intercontinental missile launchers. High accuracy combined with multiple warheads allows one Chinese missile to destroy several American missiles in their silos. This creates the classic vulnerability dilemma of strategic forces, where the defending party is forced to spend more resources on defense than the attacker on offense. Such asymmetry could trigger a new arms race, as the United States would be forced to modernize its strategic triad to maintain parity. The economic consequences of China's military buildup are already being felt globally. Rising tensions between the world's two largest economies are leading to fragmentation of global supply chains, technological decoupling, and formation of parallel economic blocs. U.S. allies in the Asia-Pacific region, particularly Japan, South Korea, and Taiwan, find themselves in extremely vulnerable positions and are forced to urgently reconsider their defense strategies. The DF-61 missile demonstration also sends a clear signal regarding Taiwan's future. Possessing the ability to neutralize American strategic forces, China gains significant freedom of action in regional conflicts. Washington will be forced to approach military support for Taiwan more cautiously, knowing that any escalation could lead to direct confrontation between two nuclear superpowers with unpredictable consequences for the entire world. The presence of Putin and Kim Jong-un at the parade also demonstrates coordination of military programs among the three countries. North Korea provides solid-fuel rocket engine technologies, Russia shares experience in creating missile defense penetration systems, and China provides the industrial base for mass production of modern weaponry. Such division of labor allows each country to maximize the effectiveness of their comparative advantages in the military technical sphere. The situation is complicated by the fact that Western intelligence services experience serious difficulties in obtaining reliable information about Chinese military programs. Unlike Soviet times when satellite reconnaissance could track most strategic objects, modern China uses underground facilities, mobile systems, and sophisticated camouflage measures. This creates a situation of strategic uncertainty, where taking adequate countermeasures is hindered by lack of information about the opponent's real capabilities. The emergence of the DF-61 marks the definitive transition from a unipolar to a multipolar world where several nuclear superpowers possess the capability for mutual assured destruction. This returns the world to Cold War logic, but now with a greater number of players and a significantly more complex geopolitical configuration. The events at Tiananmen Square on September 3, 2025, will go down in history as a symbol of the beginning of a new era of global confrontation where the stakes have never been higher. The DF-61 missile represents the pinnacle of Chinese military engineering and strategic planning. Externally, it's almost identical to its predecessor, the DF-41, but this deceptive similarity conceals revolutionary technological improvements. Mounted on a 16-wheeled mobile launch complex, this missile can carry up to 10 independently targeted nuclear warheads over distances exceeding 15,000 kilometers. This means that any point on United States territory is now within range of China's nuclear arsenal with guaranteed destruction of highly protected targets. The emergence of the DF-61 occurs against the backdrop of China's rapid nuclear buildup, which the Pentagon calls the fastest in modern history. According to the latest assessments by the U.S. Department of Defense, by mid-2024, China exceeded the 600 operational nuclear warheads mark, and by 2030, their number will exceed 1,000 units. Moreover, a significant portion of this arsenal will be maintained in a state of heightened combat readiness, fundamentally changing the strategic balance of power. Construction of at least 3 new fields of silo launch facilities for intercontinental missiles is proceeding at full pace, demonstrating the long-term nature of Chinese military plans. The technical superiority of the DF-61 lies not only in its range and number of warheads. The missile employs advanced technologies for overcoming missile defense systems, including maneuvering warheads and modern electronic countermeasures. The mobile platform allows for covert movement of launch systems across China's entire territory, making them virtually invulnerable to preemptive strikes. This represents a qualitatively new level of strategic deterrence that calls into question the effectiveness of America's prompt global strike doctrine. The missile demonstration in the presence of Putin and Kim Jong-un carries profound symbolic significance. This isn't merely diplomatic courtesy, but an open declaration of the formation of an anti-Western coalition of nuclear powers. Russia possesses the world's largest nuclear arsenal. North Korea is actively developing its nuclear and missile programs, and China is rapidly expanding its capabilities. Together, these 3 countries create an alternative pole of power capable of opposing the NATO bloc and its allies in the Asia-Pacific region. The technical specifications revealed during the parade demonstration indicate that China has achieved remarkable progress in miniaturization and accuracy enhancement technologies. Intelligence sources suggest that the DF-61 utilizes advanced composite materials in its construction, significantly reducing weight while maintaining structural integrity under extreme flight conditions. The missile's guidance system incorporates quantum-enhanced inertial navigation combined with satellite positioning, providing unprecedented accuracy levels that rival or exceed those of the most sophisticated American and Russian systems. This technological leap represents decades of intensive research and development, much of it conducted in complete secrecy within China's vast network of underground military research facilities. The parade also showcased China's growing confidence in its nuclear command and control systems. Unlike previous displays where missiles were shown without their warheads, intelligence analysts noted subtle indicators suggesting that some of the DF-61 missiles may have been carrying actual nuclear payloads during the parade. This represents a dramatic shift in Chinese nuclear posture, moving away from the traditional separation of warheads and delivery systems during peacetime. Such a change signals Beijing's readiness to maintain portions of its nuclear arsenal in a state of immediate launch readiness, fundamentally altering the strategic calculus for potential adversaries. The international reaction to the DF-61 demonstration has been swift and varied, revealing deep fractures within the existing alliance structures. European NATO members, led by France and Germany, have expressed growing concern about being drawn into a potential U.S.-China nuclear confrontation over Taiwan or South China Sea disputes. This has accelerated discussions about European strategic autonomy and the development of independent nuclear deterrent capabilities. Meanwhile, traditional American allies in Asia are scrambling to reassess their security guarantees, with some quietly exploring diplomatic channels with Beijing to ensure their neutrality in future conflicts. The economic implications of China's nuclear modernization extend far beyond military considerations. The massive investment in advanced materials, precision manufacturing, and quantum technologies required for the DF-61 program has created spillover effects throughout China's civilian technology sector. Chinese companies are now leading in several critical technologies, including advanced ceramics, precision machining, and quantum communications, giving Beijing significant leverage in global technology supply chains. This dual-use nature of military technologies has enabled China to simultaneously strengthen its defense capabilities while enhancing its economic competitiveness. Perhaps most concerning for Western analysts is the apparent integration of artificial intelligence and machine learning technologies into China's nuclear command structure. The DF-61 system appears to incorporate autonomous decision-making capabilities that could potentially reduce launch times to mere minutes, far faster than human operators could respond to incoming threats. This automation of nuclear decision-making processes represents a qualitative change in nuclear warfare dynamics, potentially destabilizing the careful balance of mutual assured destruction that has prevented nuclear conflict since World War II. The prospect of AI systems making life-and-death decisions about nuclear weapons launches has prompted urgent discussions among military strategists about the need for new international agreements governing automated nuclear systems. The collaboration between China, Russia, and North Korea extends beyond mere technology sharing to include joint military exercises and coordinated strategic planning. Recent satellite imagery has revealed the construction of joint training facilities where personnel from all three nations practice coordinated nuclear operations. These exercises have included simulated strikes against U.S. military installations in Japan, South Korea, and Guam, demonstrating a level of military integration that was previously unthinkable. The alliance has also established shared early warning systems and coordinated command structures that would allow for rapid response to any perceived threat from Western forces. The psychological impact of the DF-61 demonstration cannot be understated. For the first time since the end of the Cold War, American citizens are confronting the reality that their homeland is directly threatened by foreign nuclear weapons specifically designed to penetrate U.S. defenses. Public opinion polls conducted in the weeks following the parade show a dramatic shift in American attitudes toward China, with support for diplomatic engagement plummeting while backing for military preparedness reaches levels not seen since the 1980s. This shift in public sentiment is already influencing congressional appropriations for defense spending, with massive increases proposed for missile defense systems and strategic modernization programs. The emergence of the DF-61 has also accelerated the development of new military doctrines on all sides. The Pentagon has begun developing concepts for distributed deterrence, spreading American nuclear assets across multiple platforms and locations to complicate Chinese targeting. Meanwhile, NATO strategists are exploring flexible response options that would allow for graduated escalation in response to Chinese aggression without immediately resorting to full-scale nuclear exchange. These doctrinal developments represent fundamental shifts in how military planners conceive of nuclear warfare in the modern era. The environmental and health implications of China's expanded nuclear program are also becoming apparent. The rapid construction of new uranium enrichment facilities and plutonium production reactors has raised concerns about nuclear safety and environmental contamination. International monitoring agencies have detected increased levels of radioactive materials in air samples from the region, though Chinese authorities maintain that all facilities operate within international safety standards. The long-term environmental consequences of this nuclear buildup may not be fully understood for decades, but early indicators suggest significant ecological impacts across East Asia. The space dimension of the DF-61 threat adds another layer of complexity to the strategic equation. Intelligence assessments indicate that China has developed anti-satellite capabilities specifically designed to blind American early warning systems before launching nuclear strikes. The integration of space warfare capabilities with nuclear strategy represents a new domain of military competition that existing arms control agreements do not address. The potential for conflict to escalate from conventional space operations to nuclear exchange has prompted urgent discussions about the need for new international frameworks governing military activities in space. Commercial satellite operators have reported unusual interference patterns and signal disruptions in regions where Chinese military exercises are conducted, suggesting the deployment of advanced electronic warfare capabilities alongside the DF-61 system. These capabilities could potentially disrupt civilian communications, GPS navigation, and financial systems, creating chaos that would complicate any military response to Chinese aggression. The integration of cyber and electronic warfare with nuclear strategy represents a fundamental evolution in how modern conflicts might unfold, with implications that extend far beyond traditional military targets. The revelation of the DF-61's capabilities has also prompted a reassessment of existing arms control frameworks. The New START treaty between the United States and Russia, set to expire in 2026, was negotiated without consideration of China's growing nuclear capabilities. The emergence of China as a peer nuclear competitor necessitates new multilateral agreements that address the complexities of a three-way nuclear balance. However, China's refusal to engage in arms control discussions while it builds toward parity suggests that the world may be entering an era of unconstrained nuclear competition for the first time since the 1960s. Intelligence sources indicate that the DF-61 program represents only the beginning of China's nuclear modernization efforts. Advanced research programs are reportedly underway to develop even more sophisticated delivery systems, including hypersonic glide vehicles, submarine-launched ballistic missiles with unlimited range, and potentially space-based weapons platforms. The scope and ambition of these programs suggest that China envisions not merely achieving parity with existing nuclear powers, but establishing clear superiority in key areas of nuclear capability. This ambition fundamentally challenges the assumptions upon which Western security strategies have been built for the past 3 decades. The demonstration of the DF-61 alongside Putin and Kim Jong-un represents more than military posturing. It signals the emergence of an alternative international order based on shared opposition to Western hegemony. This axis of nuclear powers possesses the combined capability to challenge American influence in every region of the globe simultaneously, from Europe through Asia to potentially Latin America and Africa. The coordination of their nuclear arsenals creates redundant deterrent capabilities that would complicate any Western response to aggression by any member of the alliance. The world is witnessing the birth of a new geopolitical reality where multiple centers of nuclear power compete for global influence, making the international system infinitely more complex and potentially more dangerous than anything seen during the bipolar Cold War era.